So David Aguilar, actually, he's a 20 years old. He's a bioengineering student, and he was born with a disability. And when he was young, he actually used the power of Lego to produce a prosthesis. He's an incredible ambassador for perseverance, for creativity, for solving problems, and we thought it would be very, very relevant and a pleasure to have him with us here at the NASA Cross Industry Innovation Summit. So please welcome David Aguilar.
Do I look different than you?
Well, I met Natalie when I was 17, and I started working in a group bank as a bellboy. And at noontime, well, I used to open the employee's door. I waited for them to leave for lunch, and then I went to lunch by myself. And when I opened the door, I met her outside waiting for a coworker. And I fell in love at first sight. But unexpectedly, as the years went by, one night we went out to dinner and the company had evolved and I became a commercial representative. And I went to dinner with the director of my office, beloved Teodoro Martinez, and I met her again. And I automatically said to my director, "Do you see that girl? That girl is going to be the mother of my children." And Teodoro didn't believe it and it made him laugh as usual, right? And I said, "Well, I'm going to get closer and tell her." And I told her, and that also made her laugh a lot.
Well, I started laughing because it was noticeable that there was a lot of age difference and I wasn't used to it. But over time, he has shown me that he really loved me and that I was the first. And in fact, it is what a woman needs, being the first one, personally speaking.
And of course, that was the beginning of a series of encounters in which it became more and more clear to me that she was the woman of my life, and she ended up being so. And also the mother of my children, indeed. Well, starting a relationship involves a lot of hope. What I imagined when I started my relationship with Natalie, it is to create something beautiful, very special. The way in which I fell in love with her at first sight. And we had the illusion of creating a family. I have a great fondness for children. At the bank, I would attend to mothers with their children sitting on my lap, on my knees. I always had candies in the drawers. As the children grew older, they would come into the bank as if it were their home and rummage through the drawer searching for those candies. And having a child with the woman you're in love with was something truly special.
Well, I found out that I was pregnant when we returned from our honeymoon trip with Ferran. We went to Polynesia and we knew that once we were married, we were going to try for a baby. What we didn't think is that it would come so quickly because we went 2 and came back 3 of us.
When I found out that Natalie was pregnant, it was a moment of great happiness. And having my first child was very important for me.
And of course, when I woke up, because the birth was by cesarean, I was totally asleep. A nurse came and began to caress my face. And from that moment, I thought that something had gone wrong. And indeed, she told me that the baby was born with a missing hand.
And well, when the doctor came out from the operating room and he told me with a straight face, "I'm sorry, Ferran, but David has come into the world without a forearm," pointing out.
And then, of course, as a mother, you always think, but why? I mean, I had a wonderful pregnancy. I had 9 months of total joy. And personally, physically, I was also feeling great.
When they make me enter the room, they quickly put David in my arms. I guess it's very common to generate a bond and feel protector, isn't it? With the tears in my eyes and a huge pain, I thought that I have to explain it to Natalie when she wakes up from anesthesia. How am I going to explain it to the family when they arrive with the child in my arms?
And when you get to the room and you see your son, who was beautiful, and you see that he is missing a little piece, as a mother, you always ask, what I have done wrong and why. Do you understand me? And I did not know about this type of malformations. And then, of course, at the beginning, when I entered into the room and I saw that the whole family was really sad and it looked more like a funeral than a birth. And I thought that from now on, I had to be strong for everyone, and especially for David.
The support of the family and that inner strength that Natalie had, it was what helped me to move forward, because it was very, very, very hard. Before they gave my child to me, I fell to the floor in despair. David developed with full normality. There was a moment when he was 2-3 years old when he realized that he was missing his arm. And he kissed his arm and said, "Daddy, Mommy, Poopa." And that was a great emotional shock for us, wasn't it? But when he was growing up, he used his stump to play with cars, to act mechanisms, so he quickly started using his stump for any situation.
My childhood was quite a complicated time because people at that age don't really understand how to deal with things they do not know. And how to deal with these situations in which a person is different from others. Is the ridicule, or mockery, or laughter, or whatever you want to call it.
When he was a little boy, he still had no contact with other children, but he has been a very happy child and very loved by all his family. And I think it became more difficult when he started school.
When I realized that they were laughing at me, I felt very ashamed, very embarrassed. Because I couldn't find a solution to this situation. I always liked to solve everything. I was very eager to help others. And since this could not be solved in any way, whether with a prosthesis or without a prosthesis, I could not.
I have always told him, David, you have to have patience because everyone has their soulmate. I mean, I have had to wait 34 years to find my soulmate, and I told him, you will also find yours, and you will have the person who will love you as you are. Maybe not for your physique, but for this and this.
Hello, I am Naya Aguilar, David's youngest sister. And for me, David has been the best older brother I could have ever asked for. He stands out above all for his skills, his effort, his humanity, and above all, for his ingenuity. The bond between David and me was born from the very moment I came into this world. In fact, I often say that I am his right hand, that I will always help him with everything he needs. And I am glad to be able to say that he is a role model of overcoming and motivation for many of the young people today. And honestly, I am very happy to have him as a brother.
The role of my parents has been a huge cushion, very fluffy, in which I could soften all the blows I received from my classmates at school.
That adverse outlook, we turned it into a positive one. We appreciated it fast. Because as David was developing, we saw how he organized his toys, how he used them, what sense he gave them. Like all children, he had a passion for assembling chocolate eggs, and that they were used as a prize if he ate or if he behaved well, etc. And to see how you helped him to assemble the toys at the beginning, and they slip out of his hands, and he said, "Dad, you eat the chocolate and I'll assemble all the pieces." And to see how he assembled all the pieces with an incredible ability when they were escaping from his hands, how he assembled all of them, and you go, wow, he was amazing. And it comes to a point in which the room is full of the dolls of the Kinder Surprise eggs. And I thought that I have to help him to develop these skills and these abilities, and especially to work on his fine dexterity and his fine motor skills. We decided to move on to Lego toys, which was the toy par excellence, which helped him to the development of skills. It was very evident, and it was all successfulness. At the end, so much use of Lego instructions made him have the ability to transform those Lego creations and develop his own constructions, which was amazing. He watched some cartoons, he watched a spaceship, and he recreated it, also a robot, and he recreated it.
E uma história admirável. Está fazendo muito sucesso na internet.
Otra persona extraordinaria que sería bueno que conozcas.
21-year-old David Aguilar was born without a right forearm.
Los Legos, sus juguetes favoritos de niños, son ahora las piezas principales de prótesis.
La primera vez que se construyó un brazo tenía 9 años.
He built crazy machines like this, and this.
Hand Solo. Maybe my favorite YouTube name.
他叫 David
Aguilar.
David Aguilar.
Quiero que conozcan a David Aguilar.
Pues yo me llamo David Aguilar, tengo 19 años y hace poco construí una prótesis con piezas de construcción de juguete.
Otro genio.
Un ejemplo de alguien que sabe elegir las piezas con las que construir su futuro.
He's an incredible ambassador for perseverance, for creativity, for solving problems, and we thought it would be very, very relevant and a pleasure to have him with us here at the NASA Cross Industry Innovation Summit. So please welcome David Aguilar.
One of the things that makes me happier today is being able to laugh at myself, being able to make jokes about my arm, being able to make people laugh at something that is usually seen as sad or as a pity. Apart from this, I also really like to see the reaction of the children when they listen to my story, they see the prostheses, they see how I have built it. I also like when people listen to my music and say that they really like it, or that they would change something so that it sounds a little bit different, more to their style and so on.
In order to help David live a full life and be involved in any area of his daily life, I had to reinvent myself and also start working on my creativity as well. And for example, when he started to ride his bicycle, he was fine with the 3 wheels. But when we took the back wheels off, the posture he took was dangerous because his forearm slid off the handlebar sometimes. I went to a hardware store and I thought to buy a plunger so that he could put his arm comfortably, an iron tube, an iron armrest. And a friend of mine helped me to weld them, and I made him his first prosthesis for a bicycle.
David Aguilar and Fuchs, campeón de bicicleta.
Imagine the pride that a father takes in developing something so simple and see your son happy. So he has put me in the situation in which, as he needed something and there was no solution available on the market, I had to reinvent myself and help him. The development of a prosthesis for riding an electric scooter with which he goes to university. And it has also been a great source of pride because this invention has led to one of the world's leading electric scooter companies named Inokim, to whom we owe a lot, making David their ambassador, as they have joined forces in the pursuit of exemplary mobility, sustainable mobility, and disability joining hands, to become something truly exemplary, which fills me with immense pride.
My parents have had a huge influence on my motivation to do what I like, because from a very young age I really like creating things and inventing.
This is the fan cap that I have invented.
They have always been with me in the most difficult moments and have helped me to create things that did not exist, so that other people or I can have a slightly more normal life.
David had a dream and the pieces to make it come true.
I would like to have another arm, but just to have the experience.
So he let his imagination run free and he got down to work. With these pieces, instead of building an airplane, he made his own arm prosthesis.
In order not to feel it, I have to think where it is. How do I move it, and what are its functions?
An ingenuity to which he has given movement, the ability to pick things up and on which he relies to move forward.
The biggest motivation I have when I carry out projects with my parents is knowing that they are going to be able to help others.
Hello, Thare! Hello, BECNUR! How's it going?
Good. Nice to meet you. Hi.
Nice to meet you too.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, have you seen this? I mean, like, wow, hey, wow.
Hello, I'm BECNUR, and I have this prosthetic made by Ferran Aguilar. Here's the Guinness World Record here. And I can use it for devices. It uses some sort of energy I don't know of. I'm not that good in science. And here on the right we have a different prosthetic called the MK BECNUR. I can pick stuff with it.
Yay!
I'm going to
No, why? What did you do?
Thank you, David Aguilar. I hope there will be a lot of kids you can help, and you can inspire a lot of people.
My name is Craig Glendy. I'm the editor-in-chief at Guinness World Records. So I was determined to get David in the Guinness World Records book. That's why I've come here to Andorra for my very first trip to see if we can actually get David into the book. I think I've got some good news for you. Wow. Can you guess what's in here?
Yeah, of course.
David, I'm very proud to present with you your official Guinness World Records certificate, saying you are officially amazing for the first fully functioning Lego prosthetic arm. Congratulations.
Wow.
You very much deserve this.
Officially amazing.
Officially amazing.
Well, having a Guinness World Record with my son is one of the greatest satisfactions. Obviously, as a result of your efforts, your ingenuity and your creativity in concern with my sons. I was able to do something to BECNUR, the boy to whom David had already made a prosthesis to pick up objects, seeing that he could not use a tablet very well, or that he used it with his foot with some discomfort. I decided to develop a prosthesis using Lego pieces. The tip of an advertising pen that when in contact with an electric cable that when touching BECNUR's skin, with a clamp that David made from Lego and the cable touching BECNUR's skin transmits static electricity and allows him with a simple advertising pen from a good friend of mine, Mauro David Martinez. We have connected with the child like any other child to the digital age.
I feel very good and also very happy to achieve these accomplishments, because when a person like me achieves, for example, a Guinness record, it gets on television and they talk about my story and they talk about what I have achieved, they talk about the help I have received, and that gives an example to people who have not been so lucky, because it gives a voice to those who normally are silenced by society and does not dare to say anything out loud. And to be honest, receiving comments on social media like, "Thank you for speaking out for people like us," makes me feel like a superhero, really. I have a great responsibility, and I have the duty to continue sharing this story, so that people can feel identified with a person who comes out in the media and in this way have more courage to fight for the things they want in life.
In my university internships this year, I have been able to see that my brother's story of overcoming has helped many of the children to understand that in a classroom, no one is superior to another, each has their individualities, that it is much better to live in an environment where they are respected, where there is tolerance, and where there is inclusivity. Lego for my brother was a piece that helped him move forward to show the world what he was capable of. And what I wanted this year was to implement the toy for one of my interventions. The importance of bringing role models to fight against bullying, using my brother's story of overcoming as an example, for me will be one of my greatest achievements as a future teacher. Since, without a doubt, it motivates, inspires, and raises awareness among many of the children I will have in a classroom. In fact, I am very proud to be able to say that my brother and my father, Ferran, have worked very hard to carry out the creation of a game. Actually, it is an anti-Parcheesi against bullying, called Bullying Pursuit. Obviously, it is going to be a game that will give a lot to talk about, and what they wanted with this game is to eliminate the negative competitiveness implicit with the well-known and ancient Parcheesi, and replace it with positive collaboration, having to eliminate the fifth player, the bullying monster. It is a game with numerous principles and is very essential for the society and the youth of today, because they are going to contribute significantly to making our world a much better place, fostering greater awareness and respect.
This summer we have put a group of kids to the test. This is energized between them to eliminate the monster of bullying. It has been a very radical change in the game and also very fun using the figure of David and the surprising effect that it generates in children when they see it with their prosthesis. So, all the children play with each of the David's prostheses and they play against the monster that is on the board, and in the dices itself there is a dice for the player and 2 for the bullying monster. That makes it very dynamic on the board because they have to eliminate it.
From our school, we see that it will be very good, and for both the teachers and the students, because it will put on the table a problem that exists and that it has a tendency to remain unnoticed. It will be intriguing to see students' reactions.
That if they wish to learn about the project and evaluate it for commercialization, they can contact us through the website davidhansolo.com. And it will be a genuine pleasure to introduce it so this can become a reality and receive the impact it truly deserves, to raise awareness in all educational institutions. My objective has been for David's story not to remain hidden but to spread it as widely as possible. Because it would be a great pity if it doesn't serve to generate good, and indeed it is happening. Educational systems worldwide are adopting the book as a necessary reading to raise awareness. The documentary, movies, games, everything must serve to generate great good, and it would be a great pity not to take advantage of that opportunity to have a positive impact. Something is happening and it's a prize for David. He deserves it. And also guys like him deserve it. Those who go through situations in which they lock themselves at home, they worry parents, they believe that they do not have possibilities in life. It is a lie. We all have skills, we all have our differences, and David's story serves. And I have the awareness and the knowledge, the experience and the peace of mind that giving it to know has been the best thing I will have done in my life. And without a doubt, it's helping a lot.
If I could be born again, I would not change anything in my life, because the arm without me would be just an arm. And I, David Aguilar, would be nothing if I had not been born with only one arm. What is important, I think, are all the values I have been learning since I was a child. And to be able to apply them in everyday life is something that is very comforting.
I think I have a very special family. What has happened in our family has become a model. David's story has spread to an extent in which, well, David helped us to overcome everything.
My greatest hope now is to be able to help as much people as possible, either with my music, or my message, or my creations, or my prostheses, or my values. It does not matter. As much as I help people, I will be more satisfied for having built the prosthesis first. That is the origin of the story. To be honest, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't have the arm like this. So I wouldn't change anything.
Hi, we are the crew from Hope Media International, and we have had the privilege of recording this report.
The documentary that tells the exciting and inspiring story of the Aguilar family and David, known worldwide as Han Solo.
This was captured in September 2023, and as we worked on post-production, David and Farhan's dreams came true. This happened.
Palomir Juegos. ¿Estás contento?
6 months have passed since the documentary was filmed, and since then, many beautiful things have happened. We have introduced the board game at the Pyrenees Board Game Festival in La Seu-d'Urgell, my hometown, and at the Escola La Tordera Institute, where we have gifted them the first prototype and its instructions. Today we are here at Falomir Games after having met through LinkedIn and in person. We visit their factory to embark on this significant endeavor of taking our game balling pursuit to the international stage.
Exactly.
Let's see if it happens. How exciting.
Bienvenidos. Adelante, Fernando. Un placer. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? aquí.
Our perspective on the game crafted by Farhan Aguilar. The truth is, we are very happy because in the end, what he tries to combine is the classic and well-known game that helps us be the driving vehicle to combat bullying and understand what to expect therefore. A familiar concept that everyone knows serves as a tool to work on these values we wish to instill seems like a brilliant idea to us. One of the aspects I liked most about the game is the mechanics and how they have successfully linked those mechanics into the learning and understanding process all together. How by playing and engaging with this game, whether at school or with family, we will all manage to grasp how bullying operates and ultimately achieve its eradication. David Aguilar has created the game, allowing us to play with something he has personally experienced, and that it contributes or assists many families to know how to fight and differentiate bullying. I think it's a genius idea that will surely spark a lot of interest in society, both nationally and internationally. I am certain that Bullying Pursuit, the new game by Han Solo against bullying, will succeed because it addresses a need we have today in the market, in schools, and in our everyday life.
When I encountered David Aguilar and Farhan at one of the Access presentations on PlayStation, they already told me they had the idea of using Parches as a tool to teach children about bullying and how to fight against it. We thought it was a brilliant idea. It seemed something brutal and totally revolutionary. And we quickly saw the opportunity to link it to what we do, which is video games for different platforms and consoles. In this situation, we clearly recognized that adapting Parches for mobile would help us grow the community, the knowledge of this game, and especially spread it to other areas. We discussed the possibilities that this interactive digital version of the Parches game could have, even how the physical and digital worlds could blend to create a more effective tool against bullying, and we saw it as the idea that from this moment on, a whole realm of possibilities was open for exploration, and from now on, we would need to research how to apply it to all those areas and how to make it a useful tool for society.